Hey guys, welcome to the daily analysis and happy Monday. Today obviously we're getting to start off a new week of trading, hopefully a great week of trading. And today there's a few things I want to note. One of the things here is the New Zealand, which we don't typically look at, but just something interesting I see here with it breaking out of this triangle and then kind of sitting on top here as a base. So I want to talk about the probability of maybe this heading back into that 85 or a little lower in this resistance area. And then also a few other potential setups and maybe possible things to look for throughout the week that I want to cover in today's analysis. Okay, so that's what we're going to look into, but first obviously we'll hit our news and then our terms as well. Alright guys, a little bit of news here. First of all, the 8:30 a.m. news you see there is CAD. That's core retail sales for Canadian, and one that if you have any CAD crosses, obviously you want to be paying attention to. It's a red tagged event, and as I always say, anything that's red tagged has some potential to move the market, especially if there's an unexpected deviation. The forecast there is 0.1%, so anything way above or way below can certainly send the CAD up and down a significant amount. Then later on we have our existing home sales for USD. 5.09 million is the expected there, and so we'll look out for, if there's a really huge number there, and if there's 6 million or some massive number that comes out for home sales, that's a really good indication for the U.S. economy, and so we'll look out for that, see if the USD has any strength in it, maybe to see if it can continue driving up like the USD yen, some of the other crosses we'll be talking about, but definitely an announcement to keep your eye out for. And then lastly, the other major announcement that really is involved in the New York session is that Draghi speaking around 1 p.m. Obviously, the ECB, is mainly what we're looking out for, but when that happens, it can affect pairs across the board. So certainly don't want to miss that. All right, guys. Next, just want to quickly cover our terms. And the basic reason for covering our terms is that the U.S. government has some pretty strict rules about giving investment advice. So we want to be very clear that we're not telling you what to do with your money. We're not giving investment advice. This is just purely an educational purpose that we're just sharing our opinions of the market and not suggesting what you should do with your money. Okay, so it's important to understand those. And if you want to read through them, please just pause the video and do that. Alright guys, so the first thing I want to cover is this New Zealand. As you'll notice, a pretty good up move for the New Zealand, and a pretty consistent trend here as well. Now, one of the recent things is that we broke out of this triangle area, and it's not a major triangle with a lot of top resistance here, but you can kind of see the shape developing, and a strong breakout here that came up a little below 85 and reverted all the way back down to a trend line. You can see it came all the way back, a nice retest, and then broke through again. Now, what's interesting is that on the way back down this time, we had a lot of stalling action at this level. And you can see that on the way here, very little stalling action, but here quite a bit. And so one thing I'm looking for is if this base can hold up and actually show a little bit of momentum back toward the upside, a retest of this level would be a nice trade possibility. So that's definitely something that we might have here in the next few days. Now, of course, because this is heading back down and we have an upward trend line, there's a very real potential that this could come right back through all the way down, test our trend line here before moving higher. But in case this starts showing some momentum, it looks like it very well could be a solid break, medium-sized pullback, and a continuation right back up into our area, or even potentially a higher high to kind of continue this upward channel area. So I think very nice bullish potential here on the New Zealand. Any type of impulse or momentum move up on maybe a smaller time frame tomorrow or the next day, whenever it really starts to develop, could be a nice area to jump in long and see if we can ride that New Zealand upward at all. Okay, another thing we have going on here is the euro. Still hanging up toward the top of this area, right straddling 134 basically is the little range. And so again, just looking for a breakdown and hopefully getting another move off this this trend line and looking to take that long. If it comes straight down, could possibly be as low as 131. If it continues to move to the side, we could end up coming closer to a trend line at higher prices. So it really depends on where and how fast this breaks. But once it gets in this trend line area, definitely be looking for some long potential on the euro. US yen is still just kind of hanging. It's right at the 90 area right now. This is 90 exactly right here. So that's a level certainly to keep your eye on. And then obviously if it comes back down toward 88, This could be a range here that might be having some trade opportunities. Whether it pulls all the way back down to 88, that is something that we're just going to have to wait and see. I don't think there's any major momentum there that's going to show us that it's definitely going down that low. But certainly a pullback in that area would not be too surprising, as it is now a decent level to look out for. So that's the US yen. Right now it's right back at this little tail bar, which obviously not a great level of support, but we could see continuation right from this bar. Also would not be surprising. So a few different potential options there for the US yen. I'm still long on that AUD yen and hanging on, so I'm hoping that it doesn't pull all the way back down. I'm hoping that we get some immediate continuation from where we are now, but that's yet to be determined. And I think if it comes down toward lower prices, maybe we'll get some really nice buy opportunities at a pretty good price on the US yen. Okay, here's the pound dollar. Let me put this line on the chart here. Major level we're looking for is coming up. So any of you who may have taken it short through this break, the continuation so far looking pretty good. And we are through this little point here. So let me just put that on the chart real quick. We made it through this point here, and not much farther left to go. Let's see from where we are now. It's about 75 pips. So how weak the pound has been is somewhat surprising. I talked about how the euro has not really been weak at all, yet the pound is crashing, and it's not a typical correlation from that pound and euro that we see. So because of that, to me, it's a little bit difficult to predict this pound. There's not really a reason that I see behind the pound being extremely weak, yet it's crashing with a lot of momentum. So other than just maybe as it's falling, the technical signs are showing that it's coming to the next major level, I'm not extremely confident in one way or the other whether the pound is going to continue falling, or if it's going to rally and have a massive reversal. I don't really have an opinion either way. So the pound is actually one that I'm not extremely confident in trading right now. And for that reason, those of you who are short, I think that this 157.50 area is a great target. It's a big level, but I'm not looking to take any trades on it now. If obviously, if I got in short on the original break and was holding on to it, that would be great, and that would be one thing, and I'd be thrilled, and I'd continue holding it. But for me now, as a person who never got in short, there's nothing that is really driving me to jump on with some of the other trade potential that I like a little more. Alright, next I have the AUD up, and kind of getting bored of covering this pair because there's still nothing really to report. This trend line is now, it's sloping slightly down. Nothing showing me that it's going to break or that it's going to pop. So anything here, basically I'm at the point now where I'm just saying, okay, if it breaks clearly out of this area from the top here, or this area at the bottom here, anything outside of this range, I'll start looking to take a trade with the AUD. But for now, there's just nothing appealing there. So I know the AUD is a great pair to trade typically, and there's lots of great moves, and it's one that I continue to look at because I really like to trade the AUD, but it's at a depressingly low movement lately, and so just certainly no trade potential that I see on any kind of larger time frame. On the other hand, the euro pound continues to soar. Again, just amazed as it breaks through 84 here. It's just pretty incredible, really, the movement that we're seeing here. So we are at an area that's a pretty decent area. 84. If you scroll back a little bit, let me just scroll this back a little bit. You can see in this area there's definitely some consolidation, support and resistance kind of clustered together. So this 84 range could be an area where we see the price at least struggle. One thing to look out for if you're interested in getting long on the euro pound, perhaps being a little struggle here, and then maybe a breakout back up after the struggle. That's a very real potential. So perhaps I'll wait and kind of keep you updated on that. And if there is a strong break, we can talk about the potential for going long and where our next areas are. But for right now, it's just so high. You can't really take a long with any confidence because reversal points can come at any point. But also, you don't want to short just because it's that high, because we've seen time and time again that the market will make you pay for just trying to guess short because it's too high. So even though I like the euro pound and I love the movement, kind of just a no trade potential at this point. Alright guys, USDCAD finally starting to move a little bit. I showed you last week that we got a little bit of bullish momentum. This is kind of a pretty decent level here. that I've been looking at, and it's trying to rally above that. So there's potential here that the USD-CAD could rally all the way up near parity, and so that's definitely something to take a look at. I've been waiting for the USD-CAD to do something. Breaking above that 99 and staying above there is certainly something which I'm happy to see. So we'll see how price reacts, but USD-CAD potentially heading up to parity is a very potential trade. Parity is, let's see, where am I at? Parity is right here, so a little lower than that top level, but regardless, definitely a potential move on the USD-CAD. Alright, now I'll just quickly show you the AUD yen because I'm in the trade, just want to keep you updated, and I'll end with this. One of the things I really like is that we had this strong tail bar from a few days ago, but now it's kind of hanging and struggling a little bit. So we're right at 95, which is definitely a psych level, and there's a little bit of also technical resistance there. But what I'm looking for here is just to see if we can stay above like the bottom of this area. Down here is like 93.5. As long as the price is like hanging above this, I'm still pretty confident that we'll get an eventual break. If price breaks down, starts heading toward 92.50, then I'm probably gonna get a little nervous. I have not locked the trade into break even though it's up a little over 100 pips. So that's something I'll have to consider. But I want to give it room. I want to let it break and hopefully get toward much higher prices. And so that's how I'm managing it now, kind of keeping a few areas in mind and then doing a little bit of discretionary decision making based on price action. And we'll see how it ends up reacting throughout this week. And if we get a break to higher levels, I'll definitely be locking in some profit, making sure there's no risk on the table, and continuing to give it enough room that it might hit a higher target, but also making sure I'm not being foolish and leaving risk on the table if it's up 200 or 250 pips. Okay, so that's the AUD yen, and hopefully it'll keep rising. I think the yen again has more room to be weak if it so chooses, and so that's exactly what I'm hoping it does. Alright guys, that's it for the analysis. As always, I really appreciate it when you share on Twitter and like on Facebook and all that great stuff. It means a lot and really helps us reach as many people as possible. And so please, if you don't mind, take the minute to do that and leave any comments or questions or concerns or anything like that as well. Alright guys, talk to you soon. Have a great Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow.